Happy Monday to you, and thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted at 6:30. Boy, what a snowy weekend it was. It seemed like the snow just didn't stop all weekend, and that was kind of the case today as well. We saw a few breaks here and there, but looking at some of our weather cameras, Joe will talk more about this in a second. It is still coming down, Joe, so when will we see a bit of a break?
Yeah, I think later in the week. That doesn't mean it's going to snow the whole time.
Right.
But we are going to continue to see lake effect snow tonight and tomorrow. It looks like Thursday is kind of when that ends.
Okay.
So if you're kind of peeking ahead. Take a look, though, at some of our weather cameras tonight around northern Michigan. We've had some snow now. Again, with lake effect snow, it comes and goes. Gaylord, we had a little band of snow just cross through. Cadillac earlier at 5 o'clock had some pretty decent snow. A little break now. And then snow coming down at Whitefish Point. A little further north, a little darker there, too, up at the point there. A couple areas of snow here. Let's look at our measured snow totals that we saw for a few spots, kind of compiled from some reports. Metz, that's in Presque County, had a foot of snow over the weekend. Mansalona, almost 10 inches. In Antrim County, Rogers City, 8. But I did get a report from Mike, who lives there, of 12 inches at his place. Elmira, about 6.5. Way up north of McMillan, half a foot. There in Luce County and Ludington had about 3.5 inches of snow. One other thing, too, besides the snow, it's cold. These are the current temperatures right now. Look at Houghton Lake, it's 5 degrees. And when you factor in the wind chills below zero. Houghton Lake right now, the wind chill there at 12 below. So a little chilly, and of course we still have that snow coming down Maya. We'll talk more about that. There are some winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories, and also a warm up too. I'll save that for the last. We'll have more on that in a few minutes.
A lot to talk about a little later after our first commercial break, but thanks so much, Joe. As you mentioned, much of northern Michigan is bracing for another frigid night and similar ones over the next couple of days. Now, for some folks, that can mean a real challenge with keeping their houses warm enough, and in some cases, that challenge can actually lead to a call to the fire department, but there is help out there. Here's Mark Schlett with that full story.
We'll see an increase in close calls and fires all throughout the community.
When temperatures drop, things heat up at fire stations around northern Michigan.
We see an increase in the January, February, March, when the cold snaps hit, of alternative heat sources being some part of the cause of the fire.
To stay warm, more and more folks are counting on things like electric blankets and space heaters to take the chill off.
There's a lot going on between those cords, and people should be aware of what's going on there.
Should be, but often aren't. And that can lead to close calls or all-out fires at homes. Firefighters like Jake want to remind you of a few things.
If you're using multiple units on one outlet, that could be a very big problem. If you're using some extension cord or power tap or surge protector to extend the reach of that appliance, that could be a problem.
Ditch the extension cords and have the heater be the only thing in an individual outlet box. Also, before you plug it in, check the cord.
And it's frayed or kinked or damaged, now you're introducing a lot more energy, and if it finds a ground or it becomes compromised, it could start a fire rather quickly.
Place the heater with at least 3 feet of space around it and nothing combustible nearby, and then don't overdo it.
If you're using them for a prolonged period of time, you're just increasing your risk of creating a fire hazard.
These are intended to take the chill off a room, not replace a household heating method.
If you don't have a furnace that is capable of keeping up with the weather, you need to make that investment.
And making that costly furnace repair in order to ditch the space heaters may be possible thanks to programs and resources available at the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency.
We're here, we exist to help people, and that's what we love to do.
There's money available to address broken furnaces and costly repairs.
Yeah, there is help. Different avenues, either through us or other agencies. Right now, we do have some funding. We have quite a bit of funding in Charlevoix and Emmett County. That's often administered as a grant up to $10,000.
And money available for more long-term fixes to get and keep more heat in your home.
We can get you on a wait list and do a lot of upgrades like insulation, air sealing. We help with ventilation, we help with appliances, tuning, replacing furnaces, water heaters if needed.
NMCAA can help or advise with a lot of longer-term fixes and can even help guide folks through more of an emergency situation as well.
Somebody needs help with paying their utility bills, or if they need help with a propane fill or fuel oil or wood pellets, their first stop should always be the Department of Health and Human Services.
That was Mark Shillette reporting, and we have much more information on those different grants and programs available on our website, UpNorthLive.com. But let's take a bit of a break from talking about all of the snow and cold weather. Let's look ahead to some nice, warm summer evenings. And let's pretend it's June, it's a summer night, and you're wondering, what should I do tonight? It's warm out, I want to take advantage of being outside, but I wouldn't mind seeing some live music. Interlochen Center for the Arts is your place to be this summer if you love being outside at a beautiful location and seeing some live music. So Interlochen Center for the Arts announced another round of shows for the summer season. We've got the list up on your screen right now, starting off with Gary Clark Jr. on Friday, June 20th. Then the I Want My 80s tour kicks off on June 25th with the likes of Rick Springfield and other favorites taking the stage. May Erlewine and Joshua Davis headline the Corson Auditorium on June 28th. Matt Carney takes his Headlights home tour to Interlochen in July. And then it's an evening with cake on August 15th at the Kresge Auditorium. Pink Floyd tribute band favorite Britt Floyd brings its signature psychedelic sound the following day, August 16th. And we have much more information on how to get a ticket on our website, UpNorthLive.com. But for more on this announcement and what goes into putting all these shows together at Interlochen Center for the Arts, let's bring in our guest tonight, the marketing manager for live events and hospitality at Interlochen. Rodney, thank you so much for joining us on Unscripted.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So a very exciting day, another announcement of musical acts coming to Interlochen this summer. Now, I'm curious, what actually goes into booking these artists? How far in advance do you have to do it, and how do you pick which artists you want to come to Interlochen?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we start looking at artists in fall time, and we work with another company out of the Ohio, Indiana area in regards to what kind of acts we're looking for, and they help us get the acts up here to northern Michigan. As you know, we're not necessarily in a prime market like Detroit or Grand Rapids, so we really have to work with those artists that are wanting to come up to northern Michigan to be able to provide a great opportunity and concert for us to experience here in northern Michigan.
And I'm sure a lot of folks watching right now, maybe they have been to a concert at Interlochen, but I'm sure a lot of folks haven't. So can you walk us through what is the experience like of going to a concert at Interlochen Center for the Arts?
Yeah, it's an awesome experience here. It's, you know, like you said earlier, it's northern Michigan, it's summertime, you just can't beat it. And here at Interlochen on campus, we have two great auditoriums for these concerts. We have one, which is our Kresge Auditorium, which is northern Michigan's largest outdoor auditorium. There we have some great opportunities. We have a beer wine patio where you can sit and watch the sunset over Green Lake, as well as just really take in the sounds of the concert and just being outside. The other auditorium that we have is Corson Auditorium, which is the indoor auditorium. Again, it's northern Michigan's largest indoor auditorium. It's more of an intimate a setting as it's indoors, and it's just a great venue. The acoustics in there are really nice. It's just a great venue. Both auditoriums, there's not a bad seat in the house. It's just an awesome place to see some great concerts, some great acts, take in some great music.
Sure. And then again, going back to when it comes to actually booking these different acts, do you try to get a good variety of different genres?
Absolutely. We try to get a little bit for everybody. We're trying to get those country fans, pop fans. We like to get those rock fans, classical. We just really want to round it out with the talent, bringing that great talent to northern Michigan, these world-class performances for all fans to be able to really take it in.
And I listed off some of the different artists who are coming that were just recently announced. Is there anyone in particular that you are really looking forward to seeing or really excited about having?
There's a few, and we also have several more that are coming up, but one of them is being Cake. You know, I've grown up listening to Cake, and I'm really excited that they're going to make their way here to northern Michigan and just really bring that vibe here to northern Michigan.
And do you try to get different artists every year, or are there some times where you have maybe a fan favorite that you like to bring back every now and then?
We do a little bit of both. We like to get new artists. We like to get new talent. through here, through northern Michigan, but we also have some that come back by popular demand. Matt Kearney is an example. We had a lot of demand to bring him back here to northern Michigan, and so we did so this year.
Very cool. So this was just the most recent announcement of all the artists. So there's going to be future announcements with more artists that are coming this summer?
Absolutely. We have several weeks of some more great announcements for amazing acts that are going to be making their way to Interlochen this summer. And it's just this year is just going to be an incredible year for music in the summertime here at in northern Michigan.
I'm certainly excited, and like I mentioned, with all the snow happening, it's fun to look ahead to warmer summer months, and nothing beats going to a concert in a nice July evening in northern Michigan.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
Anything else, Rodney, you want to mention before we let you go?
Yeah, just if you want to grab some tickets, you can certainly do so by going to interlochen.com/tickets, or you can call the Interlochen box office. And the tickets for this most recent announcement are going to go on sale on this Friday at 10 a.m. So make sure you have those reminders set to be able to get your tickets. We think they're going to be selling out quickly. They did the first week.
Okay.
Tickets sold really quick. They're not sellouts yet, but we do have 3 acts that we introduced last week, being Allison Krauss and Union Station, the great a cappella group Straight No Chaser with the boy band O-Town, and we also had Earth, Wind, and Fire, just legendary showmen, Earth, Wind, and Fire that we announced last week. There are some tickets available for that, so hurry up and grab those tickets. But these tickets will go on sale for week 2 here this Friday.
So it's best not to wait too long. Try to get your tickets as soon as you can.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Rodney, thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted. I really appreciate it. And let's turn things over to our question of the day related to this story. How many concerts do you typically go to in 1 year? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. That will take you to our website where you can vote. And it looks like a majority of people are actually saying 0. But you know what? Maybe this year will be different because, like we heard from Rodney, there's a little something for everyone at Interlochen. And so, hey, if you typically don't go to a concert and you are a live music fan, maybe think about Interlochen. I will say I went to Train a couple years ago, and I'm not even the biggest Train fan, but it was an amazing show, amazing venue, just great experience. So highly recommend checking out a concert at Interlochen this summer. All right, speaking of looking ahead to warmer months, we're going to look ahead to spring. Of course, right now, still a lot of snow on the ground, but we're being told that you should actually start considering things now when it comes to planting your spring garden. So here is meteorologist Trevor Robideau with that story.
I think it's safe to say if you live around northern Michigan, you're probably getting real tired of moving around snow. Well, before long, you're probably going to be moving around dirt instead, especially if you have a garden. Today, we visit Garden Goods in Traverse City and have a discussion with them. When's the best time to plant seeds in your garden and why?
Spring. It seems so far away, but it may be closer than you think. Jen Shepard says that right about now would be a good time to come on in and get your seeds.
Now's a really good time for people to start getting seeds. A lot of people start the seeds inside their house with lights or with heating mats. So we've had a lot of business with people starting seeds between now and March.
But there are also a lot of things you need to consider before you start planting.
They should consider the space they have. They should consider how much light they have, if it's a real shady area or if they have a lot of sun. If they're looking to do vegetables and herbs, they're going to want more sun. So they should also consider how easily it is to water.
And that's just a few things. One of the biggest concerns for people is the question of what point do you not have to worry about frost?
We sometimes get a frost after Memorial Day, but usually that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Memorial Day, June 1st, around that time. But we get a lot of the plants before Memorial Day. So a lot of our varieties are going to be probably Mother's Day to Memorial Day. We're going to have the biggest variety of plants to choose from.
And if you're worried about all the snow, don't fret. Shepard says snow on the ground is actually a good thing for your plants.
A lot of people worry about the snow, but We as gardeners love the snow because it's very insulating for the perennials and the shrubs that are in the ground. When we get cold and we don't have snow, that's when we kind of worry, because that's when the roots really feel that cold.
Caring for a plant alone can be a lot of work, let alone caring for an entire garden. But the work is rewarding, and each year brings a new challenge. So if you ever get tired or bored, don't be afraid to try something new. Give gardening a try.
It's always changing. I do a lot of perennials and shrubs that come back every year, but I add in the annuals to give me flowers. And this year I might do a lot of reds or whites, and next year I might do something totally different, and that's okay. It's fun to change it up and try different things.
In Grand Traverse County, Trevor Robideau, Up North Live News.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but Joel will have much more on your forecast for the rest of the week coming up next.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
The snow is still falling for some of us across northern Michigan, but for pretty much all of us, it is a very chilly evening, and it's going to get even colder. Right, Joe?
Yes, it is, especially tonight and tomorrow, too, another cold day. But we are going to start warming up. In fact, you know, remember this next Monday.
Okay.
We'll both be here, I assume. And we'll say, remember how cold it was last week? Because it might be around 40 a week from now.
Wow.
So there's that.
All right.
All right. Here's the snow on the ground, though, right now, Maya. And look at how much of our viewing area is in the purple shading, and that's over a foot of snow on the ground. Heavy totals, even up in the UP, that whitish shading there, parts of Alger, Schoolcraft, Luce counties, that's where we have almost 3 to 4 feet of snow on the ground. And we're not going to melt any of this anytime soon. It'll take a while till we get to that freezing point probably late into the weekend. I want to show you, though, we do have winter storm warnings and advisories. So let's start with the warnings. Luce County, Antrim, Kalkaska counties, winter storm warnings through tomorrow morning for potentially 3 to 6 inches of lake effect snow, locally higher totals, blowing snow, low visibility. And then we have winter weather advisories until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning for all the purple shaded counties, kind of a hodgepodge of them here as well. Let's take a look at, Gaylord. Here's a look right now, and look at the snow coming down. And there it is, low visibility, because you're in one of those bands of lake effect snow. Here's radar showing that tonight. You can see some of the snow. The heaviest band of snow is that one right there. It's right over Gaylord. You can kind of see that extends up right over Charlevoix and coming in there south of Beaver Island, extending about 70 some miles inland. Other snow just offshore of Rogers City and then down into the Grand Traverse area, Bel Air, Torch Lake, that region seeing some snow, and parts of the UP tonight as well. There's a look at the snow up that way this evening. So let's start with that. Lake effect snow tonight. Tomorrow, at times, kind of getting pushed closer to Lake Michigan. We'll turn our wind more northerly on Wednesday with some snow there. And so when we add it up tonight, up to a half a foot near, especially there around Tequamanon Falls, the Paradise area. There's by the end of tomorrow. And there's the amounts as we head out through Wednesday afternoon, with the highest amounts across the UP, as you can see there, east of Newberry. It's cold. Feels like right now, these are the feels like temperatures. Feels like 12 below at Houghton Lake. It'll stay chilly overnight tonight through tomorrow. And as we look at that extended forecast, the one thing to take away from that, look at each day how it gets gradually warmer every single day. So there is a warm up. It's just going to take a while, but there is a warm up. And of course, through this week, a few snow showers too.
Well, I know not everyone will agree with me, but I'm looking forward to the 40 degrees next
a
Monday.
little bit of melting, yes.
A little bit. All right, thanks, Joe. Let's take another quick break, but we'll check in with our sports director, Harrison Beebe, coming up in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Let's bring in our sports director, Harrison Beebe. He's joining us live now from our content center. Harrison, what's going on in the world of sports on this Monday?
Maya, you said you want a reason to think, spring and opportunistic and all those things that go with the changing of the seasons.
Yeah.
How about the fact that we're less than 4 weeks away from the NCAA Tournament March Madness bracket reveal? That is closing in. That gets me pretty excited.
Yeah.
And before that, we have a very intriguing Big Ten conference title race on the men's basketball side between Michigan and Michigan State. There you go. Conveniently enough, there are the standings. The Wolverines lead the way at 12-2 in conference. MSU at 11-3. A tough 6 days for Tom Izzo and his Spartans. They played at Illinois on Saturday. Got a good win there. Tomorrow night they host Purdue, who you see is third in the standings behind both of them, and then they travel to Ann Arbor on Friday to play the Wolverines for the first of 2 meetings that they'll have with Michigan, and then the finale of the regular season, which I believe is 2 weeks from this Sunday. That'll be back at the Breslin Center. So it's going to be a couple weeks before we probably truly determine who will be the Big Ten champion, but it could be it could be, early on given to Michigan based on the results of this week, depending on how MSU looks.
Yeah.
And how Michigan does.
Definitely a tough schedule for Michigan State, but I think it'll be a great test for them to see how well they could potentially do come the tournament.
Okay, that's the beauty of college basketball is, you kind of play for a conference title all year, but then you get to March and you're like, oh yeah, wait a minute, there's this big thing that everybody freaks out about that in a weird way is remembered a lot more than who wins the regular season conference championship.
Definitely. All right, Harrison, thanks so much for joining us for that sports update. Let's take one more break, but coming up next, we'll check back in with our live results for our question of the day and read a couple of your comments. Stay with us.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Interlochen Center for the Arts announced another round of shows for their upcoming summer season. So that prompted our question of the day. How many concerts do you typically go to in a year? 61% say 0, 27% 1 to 3, 8% 4 to 6, and 5% more than 5. On Facebook, Dan says 10 to 15, mostly in Wisconsin. We live in the UP, the Upper Peninsula. Tony says, are you counting local bands? I'm gonna say yes, let's count local bands. He says around 25 to 30, and Eric says maybe an average of 1. I try to go to at least 1, but going back to the Interlochen thing, we have much more information on our website, UpNorthLive.com. That's all the time we have for Unscripted tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you at 11.